the point where I'm coming to in my analysis, and is that, you know, if we wanted to outline at the archaeological level the kind of space where educational evaluation as plurality, as multiplicity, as heterogeneity is developing as a material form of thought, you know, as a discursive formation, it is possible to identify some, you know, key figures, which to a certain extent outline the space where we think and about educational evaluation. And the 4 points are the idea of man's fallibility, the idea of man as a paradoxical figure of knowledge. These are not ideas, I'm sorry, these are figures. Evaluation as a form of enlightenment, and the process, the promise of fulfillment. What I mean here is that increasingly men, and I'm sorry if there is a gender issue here, but I'm trying to be close to Foucault argument, so forgive me for this. As an object of evaluation is constituted as a determinate subject, where this determination comes from positivities that are external to him. It is the evaluandum and the evaluans man is something which leaves a condition of finitude that takes the form of fallibility. At the same time, educational evaluation can be understood as something which refers to man as a paradoxical figure of knowledge, because, you know, man is determinate from positivities coming from the external, but it is at the same time able to know itself as an object. It is what Foucault called an empirical transcendental allotrope. It is a sort of folding on itself, and the capacity, you know, to grasp the invisibility. At the same time, you know, there is the idea that evaluation presupposes the existence of the untaught, something which is there and needs to be unveiled to a cogito, to something which it can grasp, can know. And there is, of course, no end in this depth, you know, capacity of knowing. And evaluation, to a certain extent, gates its value and sense of existence by the promise of improvement, where, you know, improvement means the promise of a completion which assumes the form of effectiveness, definitive improvement, or matching the objectives. But it is never to be achieved. You know, it's something. It's always something which is possible to be improved. You know, goals can be always improved, and there is something which you never achieve. You know, it is the imperative of the improvement. Just three very short things about my conclusion. Otherwise, I won't close my circle. I think that if we accept this kind of conclusion in terms of the outlining of the epistemic space where educational evaluation arises as a discursive formation, to what extent this is somehow useful for us as educational subject? Because these are, of course, that figures can be, of course, translated in terms of political paradoxes, you know. And they also, however, point to some epistemological raptures it is possible to pursue, to explore, in order to decompose, unset that kind of quadrilateral. And I think here the work by Tom Popkewitz about, you know, the social epistemology in social for social sciences is very useful insofar as he identifies three epistemological raptures, and I think you can clearly relate this to the possibility to experiment other forms of evaluation, to inhabit other forms of evaluation in education. The first rapture is rethinking the spatial dimension in the practice of educational evaluative research. This is my adaptation, focusing on how identities are constructed through the formation of social spaces. You know, this is, to a certain extent, a clear attack to the idea of man, of the centrality of the figure of man, and its nature as empirical, transcendental allotrope to a certain extent. And this will mean to put at the center of the agenda and the research question in the field of evaluation, in the field of education, of the concern about the rules and the standard of reasons through which subjects are formed in the field of education. You know, this will mean locating the subject within historicizing space in a variegated time frame. And time is the second kind of rapture, epistemological rapture Popkewitz talks about. This means, you know, to break the idea that time is something which is unique, linear, and substitute to this an attempt to think about, you know, time as a multiplicity of strengths moving along an uneven flow, something which is made of ruptures, break, where, you know, continuities are understood as conditional and relational. If you think all the evaluation tools and techniques are based on the idea of unique time, linear time, you know, continuities as something which is basically normality and so on. And the third epistemological rapture he suggests is the idea to develop, to use evaluation to develop modality to catch difference, no? Without relating difference and differentiation to some norms of unity. If you think about, you know, educational evaluation in our contemporary, in our present, all evaluation always, even when, you know, you have classification typology attempts to map difference, but there is a norm of unity, which is the organizing principle, you know, of the differentiation. And of course, Popkewitz invites, you know, to say we should try to think about forms of educational evaluation where hybridity, multiplicity, and performative effects of classification and positioning are problematized in order to map differences without relating to norms of unity. I will stop here. Thanks.